Broads Media.
They piss me off. They piss me off. Shutout against the Mets. That's how you showed up to Queens? That's what you did after splitting in Atlanta, and what we thought would be something to build off of. Your offense can't reach second base in 9 innings? Fork ball, spoon ball, I don't give a shit. Get to second base. But instead, here's JT Realmuto trying to steal after a 4-pitch walk. Ottavino is getting booed by his own fans. He couldn't find the strike zone to save his life. And you think that's a great time to take off? You ran yourself out of the inning. This team doesn't know how to play smart baseball. They are not disciplined. Nick Castellanos makes a catch out in right field. You think maybe that it can inspire somebody to do something and show life. But they don't have life. And realistically, I think the life was shut off right before the game began when the lineup came out. Even though I think this team was prepared for months. The day Bryce Harper was signed off by the doctors, I think they said, I don't care who you're playing against. I don't care if it's a National League East game or not. I don't care if it's the Mets. I don't care if it's the Braves. When you have an off day, we are going to snag 2 straight days in a row. You're not going to pinch hit, so you will not be activated, and we want you to cool the Jets. That seemed like that was highlighted as a day on the calendar, whether it was day 4 against the Braves or it was day 1 against the Mets. Now, the irritating part of this whole damn thing is here's Dylan Covey in game 4 allowing 7 runs in the first inning, so it was basically useless for Bryce Harper to even play that damn game. But how the hell would you know that this was going to happen? It's a joke that this team swings and misses at everything. It's pathetic that they strike out as much as they do. And it seemed, even though I knew they knew, because they definitely knew, when Bryce Harper didn't get the nod, it seemed like they were like, all right, I guess we have to go out here and just go through the motions for 9 innings because we're definitely not going to win this game. That's what the offense looked like. It looked defeated just because number 3 wasn't in the batting order. And, it's just totally unacceptable. You finally got something very good from Ranger Suarez. And, of course, Connor Brogdon goes in to hurt his stat line because, I just really don't have that much faith in Rangers. Well, I'm a little iffy on where Ranger is, even though thankfully, I can grab something with him, just like I did with Zach Wheeler in his last outing. But with Connor Brogdon, I got to give a shout out to my guy, Ray Dunn, who tweeted this out. This is the Phillies' 54th game of the season. Connor Brogdon is on for the 25th time. He is on pace for 75 appearances in over 81 innings of work, which previously his career high was 56 appearances with 57 2/3 innings pitched. And I remember, it's not just starting pitching that sucks. That's forcing your bullpen usage to go up, even though that's absolutely a part of this. I remember even earlier, I'm like, why the hell is Connor Brogdon getting used to 8 innings in a game where they're already getting beat up pretty good? And then a few days later, he wasn't able to get his number called because, well, it's time to give him a rest. And he was getting called on so much, and he was used in a game that was already over just to eat some innings. Then they couldn't use him when it was a reasonable Connor Brogdon time in a winnable baseball game. So it's all over the place on why the team is where they are right now and why their record is so disgusting. They are so inconsistent. Where their pitching does show up, your offense doesn't. When your offense gives you enough to be happy, your pitching falls completely apart, or you're throwing someone that was going to fail regardless, and you don't have any sort of shot when he's out there. Covey, that's not real. You can't keep doing it. I'm still getting aggravated about that because they could have went 3-1 against the Braves if they actually had a reasonable dude to go to. But no. But hey, JT Realmuto's fun on the base paths, huh? I I don't understand who taught them how to teach the game, or who taught them, who was teaching them how to think the game. Oh, man, I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. I can't even speak anymore. I don't know how I'm going to handle the rest of this series, because there's something to be said about the mental game, and this team just collapses and folds because of how much the Mets had their number last year and kept kicking them in the ass. Don't you think the first time you see them this season, you waited a long period of time, you're in their building, you're in their ballpark, it's like, yo, motherfuckers! You ready? You ready? No. Instead, 0 runs scored, shut out, and can't even get to second base. Think about this. How many gems have been pitched in baseball? Over 5 billion? And even in those gems, where guys are balling, and guys are throwing their nastiest stuff with beautiful location. The changeup is on point. Their off speed has bite. You still get runners in scoring position if you're on the team that's in the batter's box facing it. You still get guys on third base. They showed zip. How is that supposed to give me confidence for Aaron Nola tomorrow? How is that supposed to make me feel good with Taijuan Walker versus Max Scherzer in the afternoon possible rubber match? It's so annoying because I'm starting to feel this is truly who they are. Well, there's too much talent. Well, they're not doing anything with it. If they have it, they can't mold. Instead, all I see is them folding. I make bad jokes once in a while. That was one of them. I'm in pain. I don't know how I'm supposed to be sitting in this chair every night discussing a team that looks so flat, that can't do anything for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row to pull their head out of their own ass. It's a joke. And it's happening way too much. Let me ask you a serious question. Do you actually feel some sort of comfort when you see after the game, well, technically speaking, the Phillies had this same record last year at this time? Does that make anyone feel better that this is okay? Does that make the viewing experience different? Do you get less angry because of that? Because if anything, it makes me more upset. Last year, you underachieved so heavily. You sucked. So all this tells me is you're sucking again. That doesn't make it now acceptable because they figured it out last year. That now I go, what the hell? Who cares? I'll put my feet up and I'll relax and watch this team because, well, last year something happened that I had fun with. So we'll just see if it happens again. No! If they have the same record now as they did last year, instead of thinking about the what if and can they repeat it, I'm going, why? Why, with certain players in this clubhouse again, are we living through a time where they start the season off on the wrong foot? When will they start on the right foot? Because we talk about fatigue and we talk about guys not being able to go the distance last year in a year where they went super far. And you would think, well, of course they did. They played more baseball than they normally do. Well, if you took care of business in the early stages, maybe, just maybe, you're not playing in the first round, right? Like, hear me out. Win your fucking division. Is that too much to ask? Now we're at the point where asking to be first place in your division is too harsh? I want to buy. That's another start that Wheeler and Nola don't need to experience. That's another start that pushes them fresher and deeper into the playoffs. That stuff matters. Remember when there were actually some that thought it would be a horrendous idea to have time off? Who won the World Series? The Houston Astros. What were they always? A team that was going to win their division. A team that was able to relax while other teams were beating each other up. Remember their bullpen? Do you want to go through the no-hitter too? Now, at this time, the Texas Rangers are still doing their thing at the top of the AL West. 35-19. Houston's 31-22. They're beating up on the Twins right now, too. But we'll see how that shapes up. Regardless, 31-22 is a hell of a lot different than being in fourth place in the NL East at 4 games under 500. You heard me. The only difference between you and the Washington Nationals are 2 games. Makes you sick, right? If it doesn't, something's wrong with you. You should have a lot of disappointment in your gut. That Nick Castellanos grab brought back some memories. Doesn't really matter, though. Bryson Stott 0 for 4. Had a strikeout in the first inning. Grounded out into the double play in the 9th inning to wrap up the game. Trey Turner 0 for 3, now down to 240 on the season. Nick Castellanos went 0 for, although he did have a nice ball out to center field. Nimmo made a grab at the wall. Trey Turner did have a good at-bat. That was warning track power 2, if I'm going to bring up Castellanos. Kyle Schwarber down to 166 on the year. JT just pathetic base running for his 0 for. Alec Boehm 0 for. Brandon Marsh 0 for. Guthrie 0 for. Cody Clemens and then Harrison with this pinch hit. There's your recap of your offense. Does that make you feel any better? We're going to take calls. I'm going to do what I do a lot at this portion of the show, which is look for quotes from the manager. I haven't seen anything yet. And Rob Thompson said here, as we go to Matt Gelb's Twitter, Rob Thompson said he didn't want Bryce Harper to swing at all today, not even as a pinch hitter. He will be in the lineup Wednesday. Okay. Wait, Wednesday? Okay, today's Tuesday. Whew, the holiday threw me off. The holiday being off Monday, today being the first day back to work, that absolutely, definitely, 1,000% scared me for a second because I thought, wait a second, now he needs 2 days off? This isn't a Rob thing. I'm not mad at Rob. This is a organizational thing with the doctor. This isn't a Rob Thompson decision, I don't think. This screams way more of what the doctors told the Phillies they had to do, or the best thing that they should do with him returning so soon from his injury. And this is just the payoff that has to happen. The one game that you face a big rival, it fell there. And I don't care. No ands, ifs, or buts. This is how it's going to be. That's kind of the read that I'm getting, unless I'm told otherwise. Scott Lauber had some quotes on it. We just wanted to give him a full day. Don't swing the bat. Don't get ready. Well, that was kind of obvious considering when they did go to Harrison, it's a no-brainer Bryce Harper time. If you didn't, there's more to the story. But I did get nervous before because when the news first broke and the lineup first was being tweeted out by the Phillies Twitter, Matt Gelb and some others said, Bryce Harper's not in the lineup due to rest, Phillies said. So the Phillies were the source. Well, it wouldn't be the first time they try and hide things through the media. So knowing that he's absolutely being planted in the lineup on Wednesday, that brings down any sort of scare that I once had when I saw the lineup for the first time and my heart skipped a beat. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not the Mets. The Mets. You don't miss a game against the Mets, okay? Well, looks like we'll be all right. Unless they're really pulling one up their sleeve. But I don't think that's the case. All right. Anytime hotline. People are upset. I'm upset. Everybody's upset. The Phillies stink. Let's take your calls.
That was the weirdest game. You know, I never in my life saw a game where only one team showed up to the game. It was so freaking weird. My God. I know that forkball pitch, but it lives outside the zone. That's why that guy walks so many people. Stop swinging at it, for God's sake.
I don't know what to tell you about their approach at the plate. I don't know what to tell you with some of those pitches. Look, there were a few times it looks like it's going to be meaty. It looks like it's going to be over a nice part of the plate, and then it sinks, and then it has the dip to it. And all right, like you got to tip your cap at some degree, but this happens way too frequently. This happens way too much. The amount of strikeouts over their last 3 days would make you vomit alone. And they're swinging and missing through way too much. There's a deeper issue here, and whether they're trying to press. You know what today reminded me of? We just watched Trey Turner go through a terrible, terrible time. And quite frankly, I don't know if he's even out of it yet. But the entire offense, every single guy, 1 through 9, looked like Trey Turner has looked for the last couple of weeks. That's what today's effort looked like when they were all in the box taking their hacks. Kevin Long is a master at his craft, right? Well, then how can it get to this level of brutal? Brutal! They don't even look competitive in the box. It's a very difficult sport. It's very hard to hit the baseball. But to look like you don't even deserve to be in the league, how do all of them look that way? I'm not saying Kevin Long isn't doing his job. When you're in the box, it's on you. I'm just frustrated and saying, kind of just like, what the hell? I know Kevin Long's fantastic, and I know a lot of these guys, when they see Kevin Long and they get a chance to work with Kevin Long, they want to work with Kevin Long. Watching some of these dogs in the box over their career, it speaks for itself. I'm just saying more along the lines of like, come on! Why us? Why this awful? I'm looking for answers. The one that I'm running away from the most, it's sprinkled in my head. What if they're just not good? I think there's too much down here, but how long am I going to say that for? I'm pissed that I'm even saying it again. It's embarrassing. It truly is.
I mean, there's got to be some sort of change made. I'm not calling for a firing of anyone, but the same shit every night, and it's just, they come out flat. It's a winnable game, Ranger pitch well, and I mean, you're throwing out fucking Dalton Guthrie out there, like he's gonna do anything.
Well, Dalton Guthrie isn't why you lost this baseball game. Those guys get in your lineup, right? I mean, we've won baseball games where at your 9th spot, it's Nick Maton. In your 9th spot, it's Matt Vierling. There's so much going on here that I'm not mad at Dalton Guthrie, and I don't think that that's why you lost the game. I ran off the top of your lineup, and I ran off your first 7 guys that all had a 0 next to their name. That's a bigger problem. Now, maybe that's just because you're thinking of an outfield spot and you want Bryce Harper to be in there DHing and all. Look, it's also nice to get Kyle Schwarber off of his feet and not playing the field, just someone who is on pace to crush a bunch of home runs, but he definitely needs to hit more than 166, even with 40-plus home runs, if that's what he finishes with. It needs to be closer to, and I can't believe this is the standard that is today's Major League Baseball, but if he's hitting 210, 208, 212 with 40 bombs, that goes so much farther than his 166. That sentence really did just come out of my mouth, and there was legitimate discussion around it. That wasn't just being sarcastic. Those are real numbers, and sad that that's the bar. You know, we gotta look in the mirror, fellas. The caller brought up you need change. There's no change. The only real change would be finding something for your fifth starter. It's about all you can do. No one's getting canned. So do you want to go try Mad Bum? I brought that up and Ricky Bo didn't shoot it down. So what the hell? What's there to lose? You know Covey's awful. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready to go the Mad Bum route. I won't kick and scream like a little child in the car seat because you're right. Covey blows. So whatever. If the next guy blows, the original guy blows. So you're not missing out on anything. You're just trying something new. But there's nothing that's going to be that crucial of a shakeup. No one that significant is gone. You have to look within. You have to hope that they can change the tide by themselves without the franchise and without the owner and without Dave Dombrowski having to fire anybody. I don't know if they had that in them or not. I'm starting to question it, though, and that's okay.
What an absolutely pathetic outing by your Philadelphia Phillies. We can't even get a runner to second base the whole night. I mean, you think they would lay off the forkball that's in the dirt just about every pitch. But no, let's come up here and swing our bat once again and swing at a ball in the dirt. Well, you gotta lay off of it. What are you doing? It's a good pitch, but you gotta lay off of it. You know it's coming. Like, what are you doing? And Rob Thompson really bothered me this game. We're not even going to pinch hit Bryce Harper in the ninth inning. He's wearing a hoodie in the dugout. What are we doing? I get it. Josh Harrison got a hit. But Bryce Harper was the MVP. He's the MVP. Like, what are we doing?
I don't think he had the call. I don't think he had the call. This goes to the top. This goes to the medical team. You're going to get him back way quicker than you thought, but it's going to come with an expense. And that might happen to be the first game against the Mets or the last game against the Braves. And every single one of us would co-sign and sign on those dotted lines within 1 second. It's just what it is. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's not easy. It's very disappointing because one swing of Bryce Harper can turn that thing around. You pitch to him differently than you would anyone else, which also means if he gets on base, if he earns a walk, he gets on first. Now an inning goes 1, 2, 3 guys deeper. Your starter throws 25 more pitches. There's an error. Bryce Harper's on first. You start pitching differently to the guy behind him. Oh, yeah. Instead, goose eggs across the board. All right, we'll wrap things up here. I'm over it. I don't want to think about it anymore, even though as soon as I end this show, I'm going to be thinking about it until tomorrow at 7 when we have to do it all over again and pray that Aaron Nola is the one that could stop the bleeding, but I don't really know if he can because it's Aaron Nola, which means he'll probably go 8 innings and allow 1 earned run because I just criticized him, and that's normally what happens when I criticize Aaron Nola. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you on the next one.